duplicated or impliedly repealed. Impliedly. So they are taking language out. Then they say, oh, and also unconstitutional as declared by the Supreme Court of the State of Nevada, sections and parts of sections. And then number 3 is they go in there and they eliminate the elimination of unnecessary words and the improvement of grammatical structure.
I got a question.
So, yes.
Got a question. So what you're saying is you believe that the LCB is making those changes and then publishing these revised NRSs without going through legislation?
Well, they're just passed in mass. I mean, there's not even a vote against it. So what they're doing, what the legislature has done illegally, in my opinion, is they've delegated their legislative authority to this organization. Who are they? Okay, they're supposed to be the people that write the bills for them.
That's correct.
So they've abdicated their entire job to these people who have actually made revisions in the statutes, changed the words, changed the meaning, changed all kinds of things in there, and then they just go, oh, that's good work, you know.
They use
good.
judges to do legislative functions, and they call it causation.
On this committee, it's called the Statute Revision Commission, had 3 Nevada Supreme Court judges on it. And what does the Nevada Constitution say about that? It says they can't hold any office other than a judicial, and that's a legislative function.
Correct.
And it says you can't perform any function under Article 3, Section 1.
Yeah, any function. So that's a violation of separation of powers doctrine again. Right. So, I mean, you got all these problems here. I mean, just on top of each other. It's just like, this is like the Heart Attack Grill, a 27-patty hamburger, man. It's that steep, you know, it's that deep.
So I want to say this. If Lane's listening, or he's got friends out there listening, or Wanker's got friends out there listening, during your whole tenure, sure as I'm living and breathing and there's a God in heaven, you better believe in this. Everything that you've done sitting on that bench is going to be unwound. There are going to be a whole lot of people that deserve their freedom and liberty back, and those that have committed heinous crimes would fall back under the common law or common law court or that nature, and they would have to go back in. And I think they would be retried, wouldn't they, under that?
Yes, they would, especially for murder, if the statute of limitations hadn't run.
Yeah, we had a couple of people get put away for murder here, so, you know, I mean, there are jails for a reason, but they should have, say, like, I knew a lawyer in New York, and this guy kidnapped a 10-year-old girl, raped her, chopped her up and burnt her, and I said to him, how could you be his attorney? He says, everybody has the right to a trial. I didn't agree with anything he did. When I talked to the jury, I says, I'm not trying to get him off. He says, he's just supposed to have a trial.
Anthony, the prison system in Nevada is a warehouse full of ignorance. It's a warehouse full of drug addicts that need...
and mentally ill.
And mentally ill patients. And they're all commingled walking around together. You've got guys walking in there and has a life without. They'll kill you for a quarter or argue over a slice of crap bread and kill you.
Yeah, because they got nothing to lose.
And a lot of the stuff that's going on in these prisons is all covered up. Okay? There's a lot of missing equipment. There's a ward that owns 2 5-star restaurants downtown Las Vegas. $3 million worth of equipment missing at the penitentiary. Southern Desert when they built a new culinary. Where'd it go? Wonder where it's at.
That downtown restaurant.
All kinds of things are missing.
At my house.
The ward has been marched off the yard twice for using slave labor and making wood frames and lead glass stuff, and him and his wife selling it on the internet. So, using slave labor, they brought all kinds of exotic cars back there and had PI Auto refurbish these cars and everything and sell them. They brought a helicopter in there and had it all refurbished and sold the helicopter off for a lot of money. So, and he's run off a lot of industry in the prisons. So the people there are stuck, you know. There's very limited, they do a little bit to say, oh, we're doing these things. It's a bunch of crap.
Yeah,
the citizens,
they're teaching them something to do when they get out.
The citizens of this state has got so much wool pulled over their eyes. Now, I hate to say this, but even the sheriffs in this town, when they pull somebody over and they use an NRS statute, and they arrest him or what have you, hey, they say ignorance is no excuse to not know the law. Well, we're going to make all this known to these people, and once they don't do anything about it, isn't that part of the attorney, Ross?
Yes. So the problem is with that is that once they've been, in fact, I didn't know is not an excuse.
Down to a minute, so.
It's not an excuse. Well, let me cover real quick.
Go ahead.
So these three Supreme Court judges that were on this panel, along with this Russell, West, McDonald, in Article 6, Section 11, it says that the judges shall be ineligible, and this is talking about the Supreme Court and District Court judges, ineligible to any other office other than a judicial office during their term, for which they shall have been elected or appointed. So it says, and during said period, to any office other than judicial shall be void. So these guys violated the Nevada Constitution by being on that, statutory revision commission. And then it says in Article 6, Section 11, again, it says, or Article 3, Section 1, it says 3 separate departments, separation of powers, and it says, no persons charged with the exercise of powers properly belonging to one of these departments shall exercise any functions as appertaining to either of the others.
Mm-hmm.
So now we've got all these constitutional violations. I mean, just like 20 of them, 20. And if we include the statutes which are null and void anyway, then there's even more. But the problem is what can you do, And so what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to start getting people together and start funding some of these things, to start filing documents in court to put these people's feet to the fire and force them to obey the law. And if they don't, they need to be gone. There's no
incidentally, his GoFundMe website is up.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about that more next week, but
Will
I'm
you?
going to be
Okay.
pushing it out.
All right.
Yeah, we opened up a GoFundMe, fighting corruption in Nevada, and we're going to get that out there. I want to thank everybody for being here. We're totally out of time, and thanks everybody, and good luck, Frank, with your family, and good health to everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
Anthony.
Thanks, Anthony.